Hey folks, it's Jean Tiberio from Healing Outside the Box. Now I've gotten a lot of questions about how I look at a recipe and pull things in, pull things out, and it somehow comes out okay. So I thought I'd give a few examples of what I do when I look at a recipe online and say, oh, this looks nice, but blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to go through it with you in this video. And hopefully you can pick up some tips about what I'm doing. Okay, let's go to the first recipe for black bean and corn salad that I pulled online, and let's watch the magic happen. Black bean and corn salad. Let's look at the ingredients first. 2 cans of black beans, drained and rinsed. Now that sounds like an awful lot for 1 or 2 people, so I'm going to cut this recipe in half. The thing to remember is that other things need to be cut in half, especially, say, chili powder, if you don't like things really spicy. So let's go down to 1 can, and we're going to cut the others. It says 1.5 cups of corn kernels, fresh, frozen, or canned. Well, it happens to be August, and I got some fresh corn that's really good from the farmer's market, so I'm using fresh. So what is 1.5 cups of corn kernels if you're starting with a corn cob? The answer is, first of all, we have to cut it, and I'm just going to put 1 ear of corn because basically that's plenty. 1/4 cup of red onion, minced. Now this recipe calls for putting it in raw, but I don't want to do that. I like the smoother taste of sauteed onion. So I'm going to saute the onion and pepper. It calls for 1 red pepper, but we're going to cut that in half. So that gets sauteed. Now, avocado. I don't have an avocado, so I'm going to skip that. Jalapeno pepper, ribs and seeds removed. I prefer poblano, so I'll either do a small poblano or leave it out altogether. 1/2 cup cilantro leaves. Nope. I'm allergic, so that's not going to get in. What I can do instead is some nice baby spinach. That can certainly go in raw. This calls for 1/3 cup olive oil. Because we're cutting the recipe, I would bring that down to 1/4 cup. And then it says 1/4 cup of lime juice. I would just do the juice of 1 lime because again, we're cutting the recipe. 2 teaspoons of honey. I'm going to bring that down to 1/2 teaspoon cumin instead of the 1 because we're cutting, and salt and pepper to taste. Okay, here's what it looks like after I'm done. I looked at another recipe for black bean and corn salad, and in this recipe they add maple syrup and Dijon mustard instead of the honey. So if you prefer that, that sounds pretty good. It also says 1 large lime juice. I think they mean 1 large lime squeezed. This salad calls for kale, but I'm putting in chopped spinach. Parsley is another thing people like to add to their salads, but instead I usually use a little basil. Oh, by the way, this recipe calls for orzo. I would use 1/2 cup of dry orzo rather than a cup because it will take over the salad. If you want to top with salted pumpkin seeds or pine nuts, that will give you a good crunch. Also, you could use, say, romaine lettuce instead of the spinach, if you're looking for more of a crunch. Now let's see what the final product will look like. And here it is. I hope you learned something from our little example. But if you have any questions or want to personalize any of your favorite recipes, feel free to reply or email me. The email's in the description. Bye for now.